If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Hello, 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 hello. We're doing an early midday pop-up stream. PAX East is live today, okay? And they have a whole live stream, a whole slew of events. Let me tell you some of the events that they have scheduled for today. We are going to be live co-streaming the Mafia Old Country worldwide trailer and the panel that they're gonna have. I've never played Mafia, but I've always been I've always been interested in playing it. So I'm definitely excited to see what the trailer looks like and what they've got in store. And we'll dive in. It should be starting in in a few minutes. So I saw something that was funny. It's a must play. They're all over there. They're out of date. Okay, let me fix these things. Let me just boop and boop. This one, is this one okay? Oh wait, there's like, are there 2 of them? Okay. There's like 2 of them. So what's this one? All right, let me remove this one. Take this one. He was like, hey, you gotta, on your birthday, because I'm Jamaican. That's why. Cry like it's because I'm Jamaican. Okay. Hopefully that's good. Hubby will let me know if that looks good or not. All right, shout out to Wing. Shout out to Destiny. Also, thank you, Destiny. Appreciate it. You said Mafia is a must play. Mafia 3 is a must play. I got to. You got to do that as a VOD though, because... Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Really? Ooh. Happy birthday. Thank you, Abdallah. Appreciate it. Hi, Czar. I'm at work. Just invited. Wish you happy birthday. Thank you. Oh, hi, Queen Poppy. Thank you. Thank you, Krylike. Thank you, Wing. Thank you, guys. Now, it should be... Let me see if we can switch gears to at least this screen, so we're ready for when Ish pops off. And then, hold on, before hubby scolds me again. Oh wait, this one's right up here. I can move that. Right there, and then where's the members one? Right here. Okay, boom. All right. I'm in a happy mood now, so I won't bully y'all too hard, except Destiny. That's hilarious. And it's hilarious that I called her Disney. Thank you. Have you ever played Mafia? I haven't, but I've wanted to. I remember when I had COVID, when I was sick in 2021, Jazz had released a video and I was watching her video while I was sick with COVID and she was playing Mafia. So I want to play it. I do want to play it. I love a friend. I want to dive in. She threatened me with the... I see nothing. Krylike, I see nothing. I see nothing. There's sparkle. Yeah, it's sparkle. It's glitter. She's starting you with glitter. She's starting you with glitter. But thank you guys so much. The violence is canceled out is hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay, so they should be starting the trailer and everything soon. So let's pause our music. Lang, 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 lang. Lang, 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 lang.
Party and face, happy birthday.
Thank you, Tavares.
It's done for my family.
Oh, okay, I like the Italian. I do it for my family. For the family. For the family.
For my family.
For the
I
family.
killed anybody that got in my way.
Anybody. For the family.
Family and who you're born with.
Oh, whoa. Hold on.
Who you die for.
Oh, okay, hold on. Hold on. Birthday. Family, power, respect. What, isn't that a song? The power, respect. What you want, huh? The power, respect.
What's
Isn't that
up,
that's a song?
Boston? How are we this lovely Thursday morning?
Oh, you said Boston. I thought you said
Boston,
Austin.
you
I
can
was like,
do
wait a
better
minute.
than that. I said, how are we?
So, and please, my culture is not your costume. I cry like it's
At
hilarious.
least that second time got
Amelia.
the Ghostbuster to yell. He still didn't clap. He yelled, though. I appreciate that. You want to clap for me? Stand up and clap right now. All right, everybody be more like the Ghostbuster. What's
Hilarious.
up, everybody? Welcome to your Mafia, the Old Country PAX East panel. My name's Greg Miller from Kinda Funny Games. And who's been to a PAX
I'm
panel
interested.
before?
I want to go
A
to
lot
PAX
of you raised
East
your hands. That means you've been to
during
panels,
PAX
all right?
East.
Today's about energy. You
I've
get
been to
see
South. I haven't been
stuff
to East,
from the
though.
game that no one's seen. You get to hear straight from the developers. That's exciting.
How does everything sound,
So
chat?
when you see or hear something you like, I need you cheering, all right? 3, 2, 1, go!
Woo!
And when you hear something you don't like,
25%
like the
is
game's
hilarious.
delayed, you boo.
No, less
But the game's
delayed.
actually delayed.
Right now, right now.
See everybody.
But
we're gonna have a look at the gameplay.
listen,
of course.
sometimes they
We're
gotta
gonna
delay
have
a game.
some spotlights with the developers.
When you post that
and then
thing,
we are going to get
you just-
to pick the brains of Hangar 13.
Yes,
but
Destiny.
Before all of that,
As soon as
let's watch some really cool videos. Okay.
as soon as signature, boop, boop, boop. Once the signature, boop, 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 then I'll text you, Destiny. Okay. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm on.
Is not common in this world, and so.
Yeah, we're on the high. We're on the highest. Okay.
Honor, obedience. They set the man apart from the rest. You took care of Messina, but this matter is not yet resolved.
Resolved.
Will you help me bring it to a close?
I will.
Of course. Tanto easy.
Ooh, and we're in Italy. Is that freaking? That looked like what's his name? The beautiful man that we love. But if he just died, then I know it's not him. Goodness. Oh, okay. You can punch nearby things. Yes, voice acting. Yes. Oh, gosh. Ooh, I like the colors. Ooh. Goodness. All right. Horse ride. Listen, for those who wanted, this is really cool. Ooh.
You again.
I was gonna say, how do you stop a shotgun with a knife? Ooh. Oh, I thought he almost killed him. I was like, oh crap. Thank you, Asif.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick Baines, president of Hangar
Hello.
13. We hope you enjoyed this new look at gameplay in Mafia the Old Country. We're just
I
3
did.
short months away now from getting this game in your hands, and we can't wait.
Yeah,
Mafia
he's
the Old Country
definitely-
is an origin story for the Mafia universe, and as such,
You know,
it's both a step
Mafia.
forward and a return to the fundamentals of the franchise. The heart of Mafia has always been
I feel like
deep,
he's somebody
immersive
that would be in the
storytelling,
Gentleman
and
movie.
Mafia the Old Country is no exception. It's a premium experience in the vein of early Mafia games, with a linear narrative set against a stunning, authentic backdrop.
I love
of
seeing the
1900s
mountains.
Sicily. That focus has allowed us to deliver a classic organized crime drama in the period authentic Mafia rules and traditions of the era. And
Okay.
as you just saw, we've made some exciting gameplay updates. Whether you're using a knife or a gun,
It seems- and you
stealth
could
or in a
dagger.
shootout, this is brutal and
I do want to know, do you have like a bunch of
it's all going
knives,
to
or do
pull
you
in from
gotta
every
pull
angle,
up your knife?
pushing the franchise forward in a location and time painstakingly created with the utmost authenticity and detail.
Oh,
using
we'll do
Unreal Engine
Destiny.
5. Stick around, because next up is our development team, who have loads of awesome
Okay.
behind-the-scenes insights on how we brought this title to life. And
I might have
stay tuned
overglossed
between
my
now and
lips.
August, as we'll have even more to tell and show. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
We will. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of cute. The guy.
Come in.
A classic mob movie.
Our top goal for every Mafia game is to deliver the promise to a player. That
He
you're
kind of
gonna
look like
play
Dave
a
from
classic
PlayStation
mob
Access.
movie. Mafia the Old Country is a linear crime drama set against a beautiful Sicilian backdrop. The first step for us was to make sure that we were nailing all of the things that players expect from a Mafia game. The quality of storytelling, how immersive
look at him
it is,
with the,
how authentic it is. Previous Mafia games have been set in big American
Tommy
cities.
guns.
We've taken the action and we've put our story in rural Sicily, in the place where the
Yeah, we're in
Mafia
Sicily.
began.
You really feel like you're transported into another time.
Imagine
It feels
Christine
really
as a
unique
mafioso
and
right now.
different, but yet really familiar. Players are really going to enjoy that aspect of it.
Our entry point for making
Just
these
a wait.
crime dramas is
Hey,
always
Ark.
the protagonist. We wanted to make sure that our main character,
He's cute.
Enzo Favara,
With his
lives up
hair.
to the standard which we've set in the past.
oh,
and I hope
gosh.
in some ways even exceeds that.
All of
This
them
role.
in this
I love
room.
Dave. He's so funny. Yeah, it's from PlayStation Access. You watch PlayStation Access? That's awesome.
In a sofa mine, he's one of a bunch of children that are sold to the mine owners at this point in history in Sicily. Their life expectancy is short, and they're essentially.
You look kind of like Josh Hartnett.
Enzo turns to crime as a means to make something of himself. The odds are stacked against him. So
Goodness.
what does he do? He sees an opportunity for himself to gain some status, to gain some respect.
Do you wish to commit to this family?
Oh,
I do.
Swearing the oath is the chance for him.
What
to
do
finally
they
be
do with the knife,
accepted.
though?
He's found a family. It's the thing he's been searching for his entire life. But it
a
comes
little
at a
bit,
cost.
Abdallah.
I think players are in for an emotional roller coaster. The high stakes.
His beard is
of the
clean.
Mafia life present opportunities for us as storytellers to take players.
Yeah, we're
and put
Italian.
players through the ringer, really, in terms of what.
Not
happens
did they
and how
stalk your
important it is
grandpas?
to them in the game.
You again.
You again. I'm here to
What
kill
makes a
you.
really compelling gameplay experience is the mix of the high intensity combat,
Goodness.
cover play, cover shooting,
Goodness.
set by these beautiful cinematics
Oh,
that
gosh.
make what you do in the combat so much more meaningful because you're fighting for something you really believe in.
Authenticity and immersion are key. And so we wanted to take.
I
that
never met
philosophy
anyone else who
from
watches
the
them. Yeah,
storytelling and
we're a
make sure that it
PlayStation
was
Access
consistent
household.
in the gameplay.
You know, whether you come for that core cover combat shooting experience or that
If you guys
light
are coming
nickel driving
through, we are
experience,
checking
we have
out
that in
the Mafia of the Old
but it's
Country
unique.
There's some
panel
downbeats, there's
on
some
PAX
deep
East
storytelling
Live.
moments, and then there's some like high intensity action. And I think that's what makes Mafia missions and the general experience so interesting, is that we're constantly trying to change that roller
Is he being
coaster
pushed in?
experience that you're on.
Enzo's
Felon.
proving himself with guns, and we wanted the combat to feel like there was a scarcity of resources, so you have to be more tactical
crap.
in the way that you approach.
So you have to-
combat.
oh,
The knife
gosh.
has been an integral part of gameplay.
So you
It's a
have
part
to
of
be
Sicilian
careful.
culture.
We wanted our
Oh.
gameplay to be immersive, to have a life or death kind of vibe. So when players are in a knife duel, when they're in a gunfight,
Oh,
they're
goodness,
genuinely
okay.
fearing for their lives.
My flesh
Right.
must
Because you're
burn
also
like the same
fearing for
if I
resources.
do not keep my oath.
Stunning Sicilian
Bringing
adventure.
1900 Sicily to life for us.
Thank
it
you, Ark.
infuses every aspect.
Hi,
of the
MDL.
development. It's about the characters. It's about the music. It's about the story.
Oh,
it's about
okay, I
the
almost
setting,
jumped too.
It's about the vistas. It's about the vehicles. It's everything. It always starts with research. It always starts with immersing ourselves in the subject matter. So whether
Did they
that's
go to
reading every
Sicily?
crime book around the Sicilian Mafia, watching
Okay.
all of the movies, even driving the cars, firing the weapons, and then
Oh.
translating that into the game, that's the development experience.
We even sent some folks out to Sicily. We
That's
were then
cool.
able to
That's
take
cool.
all of those experiences and try to translate it into an on-screen experience, but also a story. And those two things are woven together. In a
I would have
way
loved to
that I
been
think players
research
are
for
gonna
them
really
and go to
enjoy.
Sicily.
Bravery is not common in this world, and so
The Mafia that we see in
so-
Mafia the Old Country is much different than the Mafia that we see in some of the other Mafia games. It's a
Even his
time-honored
mustache is
tradition
clean.
steeped in secrecy.
They're
And there's
clean
this
with the
sort of
facial
deep
hair at
honor
this
that we see
dev
within
team.
the Teresi family and within the characters there.
The characters' relationships with each other, the way they behave, is very much influenced by that setting and that cultural difference.
This is a distinctive experience that I've never played before, and I'm sure that players are going to feel the same.
Presentation is
Mafia the
innovation.
Old Country is our first Unreal 5
Okay,
game.
out
in
of the dev
studio,
team, his voice is
and
my
it's
favorite. This guy?
particularly suited to the Sicilian setting.
We've really been able to push the boat out in terms of sort of the
Oranges.
real tiny details on everything.
You know, one of the big
This
ones
is
for
beautiful.
me is Metahuman. You have characters that have really lifelike expressions, micro details. You know, many times when I'm watching the game, especially on a big screen in 4K, I start to forget that they're characters rendered in an engine. They just look like real characters in a movie. I think that's the
cool.
level of immersion that we want, and it allows people, I think,
That's
to really
cool.
suspend their disbelief and
Immersive.
go along for the ride.
Enzo is beautifully rendered in the game.
Oh, he's
and I think he's one of the most compelling
cute.
game characters we've seen for a long time.
The thing I'm most excited about from Mafia: The Old Country is finally getting the game in players' hands.
The story pulls you through really quickly, and at the end, it takes your breath away, and it's one that you're not going to want to spoil for your friends.
The visuals and the storytelling are absolutely.
But I would like to stream it.
Our setting's completely distinctive.
Ooh.
Our story's completely unique.
That's rude.
This is a game that you
He
haven't
is
played
cute.
before. The best
He's good.
crime
I like the
stories have
shaved head.
unforgettable twists, and this game's no exception. Players are in for a treat.
Welcome, Enzo.
Welcome into the family. You can pre-order it now. MafiaGame.com. Okay, Enzo, you said him and Jason can meet me in a room, which
And
there are
that's
no
our panel,
others.
everyone.
Cry
I
like.
thought you'd boo that. No, it was a boo moment. It was a boo moment. You got to get better at this. Ladies, gentlemen,
You confused
and
them.
NBs, please put your hands together for, of course, the team of development leads from Hangar 13, the people making Mafia: The Old Country.
There's my guy. Oh, he cut his beard. Wait, that's the
All right,
same
let's
guy,
start with
right?
First day of school kind of stuff.
He cut his
Who
beard.
are you and what do you do?
Wait, is that the same guy?
Hello, Greg. I'm Nick Baines. I'm the studio president at Hangar 13.
I like
I'm
them.
Alex Scotts. I'm
Hey,
the
guys,
game
thank
director
you.
of Mafia: The Old Country.
That's the director.
Hello everyone, I'm Tomasz Rybicek, I'm the cinematic director.
Oh, he's different. This is a different guy. This isn't the same guy, but also, yes.
Of course, I want to dive in to Mafia: The Old Country and talk all about this. It's the new game, it's the hotness, it's that. But we would be remiss if we didn't call out at the very beginning, the little trailer, the tease of this has been 23 years of Mafia games. Nick, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's incredible.
That's
I think,
really
you know,
cool
to work on a
to do something like
franchise
that.
and, a series
Yeah,
of
game
games
dev life
that
is stressful, I get it.
loved by the players and also by the developers. You know, it's like people join.
But
this
the bald
studio
is a
to work
clean
on this
bald.
game, and there's so much passion for it, and you know, the opportunity to take it forwards to a whole new story is something that's really huge and important to us. But something also that people don't always realize when they hear about Hangar 13, when they think about Mafia 3 or they think about Mafia Definitive Edition, but Hangar 13.
Definitive Edition, come on.
There you go.
I was having dinner with Ben Starr last night, and he was like, no one talks enough about Definitive. I'm like, no one talks enough about Definitive Edition.
I agree. I agree. You know, but the thing is, people don't realize necessarily that Hangar 13 has a
It's
lot
been
of
that
people,
long? Oh, yeah.
that
23
worked on
years.
Mafia all the way back to the very beginning.
Another line
You know,
of great games,
we've
yeah.
got studios in
I
the
hope so,
UK
too.
And in the Czech Republic, who, by the way, they are hard at work on this game right now, but they've taken a break to tune in to this. So, big shout out to those guys. Big shout out to those guys. And so yeah, it's just something that it really is in the the DNA of the studio.
Sure.
And I mean, I've been here for like 7-8 years. The two gentlemen to my left have been working on the projects for much longer, and
They have the
Mafia running
table
through their
very
veins.
spaced
So,
out.
Alex, how long have you been working on the project?
I've been working on Mafia since 2007, so I'm
Wow.
a relative spring chicken
Wow.
compared to some of those who've been around for a little longer than me. But yeah, my first game was my first Mafia game was Mafia 2, still very close to my heart, very dear to my heart.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I was one of the fans that Nick mentioned. You know, like I remember distinctly.
Now, for those who
playing
play
the first
Mafia, do I
game
have to play it
23
from
years
the
ago, so
first one to go
I played
through,
it. My
or
first
can I play it
experience
out
as
of
a player.
order?
I fell in love with the franchise then. You know, it was really, you know, if you guys remember the first Mafia, it was one of the first games that really went hard on a movie
From the
like
beginning?
cinematic
Okay.
experience. It really blew me away at the time. I just left uni. I was a film student, right? So I was really like big into the whole idea of games as movies at the time. And yeah, so when
All
I
the
finally
stories
joined
connect, okay.
I joined the franchise a few years later. I was immensely excited and still am to be working on something, and I'm very glad that people still want to play this kind of games today. So 18 years of time on the franchise for me, which even after all that time, I've not managed to make my way onto the box art, unlike my friend Thomas here to the right left, who has featured on...
You're the box art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened.
What do we have an accent? What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Like one of the artists just took the photo.
Oh my
we had
God.
fun. So,
Okay, hold on. This man with the
That's
Italian
me
accent
25
and
years ago.
Oh well, maybe not Italian accent, but with the accent, strong and bald. You know, he lifts
not
people.
So much a spring
you know,
chicken. You've been around, Tomas.
A little bit.
Tomas.
So yeah, it's been.
Oh, he was like the
working on all the Mafia titles.
Okay, I see what he means.
What excites me the most is that everything we learned on the journey.
I hope you improved in driving for the first one. Oh,
this new origin story and elevate it to
as if.
next
No, I'm
level
not.
of storytelling.
I mean, that's a great transition. So then Nick is
the man look good.
Big highfalutin title, even though you've barely been here.
I will say, PAX East, like their stream production,
when you look at Mafia,
really good.
Set off to do something that is so radically different.
Yeah, well, it's radically different in some ways, and in other ways, it's very much still in the same vein as.
Oh, is it? Is it driving?
DNA. I think when we set out to make a Mafia game, and
how hard is the driving?
We really identify, what the DNA of that experience is, and there's certain pillars that we look at when we're deciding exactly what it is we want to feature or how we want to, what kind of gameplay, what kind of story. So, for example,
I like that gifted anti-hero.
Brutal worlds of organized crime, gifted anti-heroes, setting as a main character, and themes of power. I think if you played other Mafia games, you'll recognize all of those things as really key.
Hit that mic.
Of them. I think all of those are definitely true in all the games. So when we look at
a race car mission, I'll just pray for your sanity. Oh dear.
How does what we're making now fit in with those? And
you're a taxi driver, and then people will talk about it. That's hilarious.
That we want to make.
And the NPCs are rude.
Let's talk about Mafia: The Old Country. Everybody's excited.
Okay, I really want to play it. I really want to play it.
Immediately jumps off at me, right, as a fan, is okay. It's a prequel. It's a new location. It seems like a new tone. Am I wrong about that, Alex? I'm going off of what I've seen here.
Well, the tone is, the tone is a little different to the other games, of course, but the setting is different to the other games. So that's the reason why the tone feels a little different. It's more of it's got a kind of adventure vibe to it. Again, you saw in the video there, riding through the countryside.
And people will see you drive and decide to run in the middle of the street.
It's the tone and the setting.
I gotta play it.
Not in a city anymore, like the previous, like the Mafia trilogy titles. We're out in the countryside.
And that's the first Mafia?
Before Tommy Guns and such like, right? So we're in a kind of an old, we're just in a different age. So that's kind of like infused all aspects of the design and the creative direction. And also this is an origin story. We've gone back to the start of the timeline of the franchise story. We're still in the Mafia universe, but we've gone back a little bit of time to the very beginnings, but also not just the beginning of that story, but the story of organized crime. We all have a good idea, I think, like what the American Mafia looks like from films.
Then when you hit them, they make you start over like
Sicilian Mafia is, or what that meant, but that is the start of it all. They invented the term, So that's
you
what
would love being a chismo.
To the start there,
hey Nate,
what caused the Sicilian Mafia to sort of originate in the first place, and set the course for what happens next later in the Mafia story.
Tomas, I think looking at the trailer, the gameplay, and of course the cinematic.
Happy birthday!
Stuff,
thank you.
really pops is the performance.
If you hit them, please come. Not the true villains are the NPCs.
Nobody's getting a mouse and keyboard. When we get on sticks, it'll be a different feeling.
Whoa.
Undercurrent of a boo there.
Right, yeah. Because we have mouse and keyboarders here. Okay.
What it was approaching casting for this. How do you go and do something that's a period piece, but is being done in modern times? What is that like?
We had a very strong casting team behind us to help us to filter down all the candidates to final selection. We spent over 2 months.
He's got a nice voice.
All the talents, having the calls to making sure that we are selecting the best possible fit for each of the role. And I have to say that we are really lucky that we ended up with our first choices for each of the role of the main character.
I don't know.
Every game is
I don't know,
very unique. Every Mafia game is very unique. And it's in a big part due to the
driving is crazy in all of them, in my opinion. Are the NPCs abusive in all of them, Clean Poppy?
Very critical to us. We were looking for
someone
who can embody the specific Enzo's journey and help us to set the distinct tone of the narrative. And authenticity is also a huge part of our project.
Thank you, C Styles.
So casting for 90s Sicily meant that we had to pay close attention to all the details, nuances, even in the dialogues. So we hired dialogue coach who helped us to, and actors to mentor and make sure that all the dialogues were
They did a lot of
feeling
research to be intentional.
natural
Hi, Rennie.
and authentic to this period.
They get tamer after the first one. So the first one, the NPCs
Piggybacking
are
off that,
the
we're
most
talking about cast, we're talking about how
villainous.
close they have to work together because, of course,
Thank you,
Mafia
Abdallah.
is all about family. What is
The family,
in this narrative? What are we getting into?
Yeah, it's a good
Can I get
question,
a shout out for Rennie
you know,
on
all of these
on
crime
Twitch, please?
Stories. I mean, it's about family in some way, a crime family.
In the third
but
one,
also
they'll just call you a
family as it means to most
Whoa.
of us, right? You know, the people you love and care about.
What,
And,
Destiny?
the drama in most crime stories is about that, isn't it? Like the difference and the you know between those two
Thank you,
types
Yas.
of families and the compromises, the decisions that the characters have to make at the center of the story to trade off between those two things. In our story, Enzo begins the story. He has no family. He's an orphan. He grows up in a sulfur mine in a very terrible environment. When he
He's
finally
cute.
finds his way into the Teresi crime family, he finds a sense of belonging, something he's been
Lang,
looking
Lang,
for all
Lang,
the
Lang.
time. But then it's about
Thank you so much, Nate.
you know,
Make sure y'all spam Lang Langs in the chat to put respect on Nate's name.
To fit in somewhere, a gang seems to offer him that kind of that environment. But then he also has some, other inclinations as to what he might want from his life. So, what's he prepared to sacrifice for his family? I mean, that's a big question around the whole story.
Happy birthday.
And it'll be answered.
Lang, 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 Lang. Shout out to Nate. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate it. Wow.
And my
Wow.
notes apparently say that, of course, the cast members have sent us messages that we are ready to show you. Are you wanting to see cast
Yes,
member
I want to see
messages?
Enzo. I want to see Enzo. Know how to read? Yes, it does. Make sure y'all spam Lang Langs. Thank you so much, Nate. All right, let's
Hi,
see.
my name is Riccardo Frascari, and I play Enzo Favara
Okay.
in Mafia: The Old Country.
Okay.
Enzo is a kid who gets a really hard start in life working in the sulfur mines.
So he really
But
is.
through
They
how
use-
his work and his resilience, he earns a chance to redeem himself with the Teresi family. That's where he learns the real values of family.
Oh, I
and
thought
loyalty.
he was
Enzo
like.
is Caruso. Caruso is an orphan.
I
who
hear
was
an
sold to
accent,
slavery
right? Am I
when
wrong?
He was a boy who never. knew
Okay,
family.
as if.
And Teresa's give him a chance to be somebody, to belong, and to make something out of himself. Enzo's characteristics are definitely his strength.
He playing games?
His loyalty, his resilience, and his determination.
Look at that look. That
He's
look
very
is a good look.
determined to find his place in the world and to claim his spot as a free man.
They really like showing you
His
that knife
strongest
work.
desire is to be a free man and to live his own life as he wants.
The R rolls, right? Yeah. That's what I'm hearing, Rennie.
Nick, he was very handsome.
Okay. See?
very handsome.
Is the
See?
entire cast as handsome?
See?
Yes, they are.
Y'all talking about, oh, Christy, you thirsty today.
Before we talk
Nah.
about Enzo a minute, I just want to say, firstly, Ricardo
Destiny, right?
put in an amazing performance. I think the whole cast are incredible, and I think the casting's been, like Thomas was saying, the casting was incredible for this game. And
Are we gonna
and
see more?
I genuinely think, we see it in game, and we're like blown away ourselves. Right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
incredible. And also, what's also cool, Ricardo is a
Hey,
really
Ash.
nice guy. He actually flew out to
Not
studio
Rennie,
in
but
Czech Republic
hydrate.
about a month ago.
Wow.
I don't have my
And
water
hung out
with
the
me.
team and played the game, and yeah, so he's a top guy as well as being what I think is going to be Enzo is one of I think going to be the next fan favorite character.
Oh, I'm
His
excited.
story is really emotional.
You're gonna pre-order
You
the
see
game
him
just
going
for
from
him?
rags to
Woo!
Richie, but it's riches, but he's he really starts at the
Rennie.
bottom in those sulfur mines. It's a pretty horrific start to life, and he has some highs and some lows as he goes along the story. But I think everyone's gonna love it. I really do. Think,
wanna play.
He's up there with the best Mafia main characters.
That's
Make sure I'm not
highfalutin
thirsty.
praise. All right, that's a good list of characters right there.
Hold me to that.
Okay, hold them to it, everybody. Let's see who we have next.
Let's
This
see.
is where you boo. You can boo here.
Oh, tech issue.
You're getting it. You're getting it, everybody.
Tech issue.
And that's our panel. Well,
No,
I hope
there's
you're
still more.
happy, everybody. You ruined PAX East.
Wow.
Panel
Wow.
number 3 of the day, and everything dies?
What happened?
Me? I'm not pressing the buttons. I didn't do anything.
Not the booing, right?
Good Lord. All right.
Not
let's
you saying
reboot this thing
interesting.
there, you know what I mean? That's okay, everybody.
What happened?
No. What? Windows need to update.
Hey.
Will there be a boot?
Oh, there we go.
Conti, and I play the character of Isabella Torresi in Mafia: The Old Country. Isabella is intelligent, courageous,
I cry
and
like really.
passionate. while she is born into privilege, she's overcome hardship in life. And I think more than anything, more than even longing for her father.
There's a lot. There's got to be something with the knife being like a metaphor for something.
Deeply of life. I think she longs to fulfill her potential, and she's
the gowns, yeah.
frustrated that the male-dominated society into which she was born doesn't allow her to do that. Isabella is a woman born ahead of her time. She is a loving daughter, but she's fiercely independent.
Yeah, Queen Poppy,
so
she is.
longs for freedom from the structures of conservative society and from her father.
So she not about this life. She don't really want to be about this life.
Alex, talk to me about Isabella.
Well, yes. I mean, Isabella is, as she as
he said it like Alex is in trouble.
Why are you afraid of that microphone?
Huh?
You start here talking to it, and you go, wait,
Destiny.
I don't need it. Talk to the microphone, Alex. There's people here.
Is this better?
That's better.
Yeah, that's better. Okay. Isabella, as Karina mentioned in the trailer, is Don Teresi's daughter, and it really comes back to that family thing we were talking about a moment ago. She represents the other side of the family question to Enzo. You know, like, is he going to commit to the crime family?
Hi, Stan. How are you doing?
Something else that he can commit to, a family more in a conventional sense, which is going to be closer to his heart. Karina's performance is absolutely incredible. Again, I'm really looking forward for people to see her story and Isabella's story as,
thank you, Ash.
As they're playing through the game. So, yeah.
Disney Princess, yes.
Another standout performance, I think.
Thank you, San.
I'm glad they got to see her message.
Yeah.
You've seen it, Tavares?
Hey, round of applause for real to the PAX text making it happen. If you're a Kind of Funny fan, you know we wouldn't have come back. We would have just walked off. That's it. Go get lunch, Kevin. Before we end the messages, we have one here, the final one from the Don himself. Can we roll
Ooh,
back?
this is who I wanted to see too.
Hi. My name is Johnny Santiago, and I voiced the character of Bernardo Torrisi.
Hi. I like his voice.
Playing Don Torrisi was definitely an honor. He is a very complex and conflicted man with a brutal, animalistic core, which made it so much fun. He's constantly trying to find the right balance of his family, his business, and making sure that loyalty.
I love the voice.
Above all things, honored.
I love the voice.
Bernardo is driven by his legacy and making sure
the way he whispered that, yeah.
His family is taken care of, most especially his daughter, and that what he leaves behind for her and the family is better than
Destiny. Leave him alone.
Or came into. I hope you enjoy the game.
Maybe he doesn't drink a lot of tea. That's why he turned to organized crime. I like his voice. Queen Poppy,
Did
what?
you walk in, Tomas? You're like, well, that's the Don. He sounds like the Don. He looks like the Don. It's the Don.
Johnny, I would just, correct him slightly because he said he's the voice of the Don Torrisi. He created the full character, obviously, the full performance, and he did great and awesome job, as you can see. Don Torrisi is a patriarch of Torrisi's crime family.
This man wrestles. You see his ears? Don't mess with this man.
Commands respect.
He wrestles.
And expects everyone to follow the Mafia.
Who's Arthur Morgan?
Don offers Enzo life-changing opportunities. However, this comes in price of total obedience and loyalty to him and his family.
Amazing. I think it's important, obviously, the cast of characters we're going
to
play.
The camera loves him, too. You see the camera lingered on him a little long?
Nick in the front with your pillars and stuff. The setting has to be a character as well, right? So talk to me about
okay. I got you, Kylie.
Sicily for the old country.
I did, Art. I gotta
visit.
I gotta play it.
Well, you can, but but it's not like it was. Like, how did you go about going back in time to do this?
The graphics are beautiful.
Yeah. I think the thing with Sicily, which is
Oh,
incredible,
really,
is
Kylie? Okay,
as a setting for a Mafia game, it's totally brand new and fresh. It is an incredibly beautiful land. The countryside is amazing. The architecture is stunning, but it's the birth of organized crime. It's where there's a dark underbelly behind the doors. There's bad things happening, and in the shadows.
What's our first man name?
There's nasty people. So
which
I think
one?
that
Destiny.
kind of contrast is really memorable. And I mean, for us. as always with Mafia games,
the one that
authenticity
wrestles
is really key. So we went out there, we've got a ton of reference. We really made it as authentic as possible. But to be honest,
in the
it's
game,
great. There's not that much
Enzo
artistic
in the
or
game,
creative interpretation required because it is such an amazing, larger-than-life, beautiful environment. So yeah, it's a really, really great setting for this kind of stuff.
in the game, Enzo.
What is the research? You guys went there, right? We saw that in some of the videos.
Nick mentioned like the authenticity is a really high priority to us.
Let's get in line.
The research was very extensive. But the best for us was how to immerse ourselves, was to send the dev team over to Sicily, you know, to walk the streets, to feel the climate, to talk to the people. Eventually, we even talked to the local historians to learn what the life was like.
I like the guy, that beard, long beard guy.
What we love on Sicily is the contrast between beautiful country of the Sicily and the harsh life conditions the people had to face back then. It was even more obvious when we went down
such
to the
good research
sulfur mines and learned how brutal and dangerous the life was there just to survive. Actually, you were there on the trip, so
yeah, it's a tough life as a game developer, going touring around.
Hilarious, hilarious.
I was not that lucky.
It was, I mean, the hotel didn't have a spa or anything, but everything else was great.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was great. We get, you know, to really represent the authenticity of the environment, as you say, Thomas, about like creating a game experience that's very immersive, that really transports you back to the time period and particularly to that location. It's very important to actually go and see it for yourself.
Is the setting working with like the themes you're trying to go with family and all that?
Well, there's plenty of there's a whole range of stuff there. So when we went to Sicily, we visited sulfur mines, we visited in the Greek ruins. We saw some images there. The knife makers and people that fight with the Sicilian.
They really like the knife makers.
All kinds of stuff. We ate the food. We spoke to the people. We, you know, learned the swear words and the gestures and all of the other stuff.
That's good.
So there's some kind, you know, so we can translate that into a game experience, which is as authentic as as everyone's expecting from a Mafia game.
I understand it was probably a million different things, Alex, but when you go there and you're talking to local historians or just people, are they stoked when you're like, we're making a video game about here? They're like, oh, is it positive? They're like,
how did they feel?
Everyone was very excited about the idea.
Yeah?
Yep. I'd say so. Yeah, it was great. Like everyone was very enthusiastic about it, and
That's
again,
cool.
particularly players in Sicily. We've got the, you know, we took that a little one stage further as well. Like I think our Italian localized version is actually also in Sicilian dialect.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, if you want to kind of like play through in Sicilian for a little bit more of an added vibe, that's there too, which is great.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is really cool. I was playing it last week, and it's it's a different kind of vibe. So, yeah.
Okay.
Nick, let's pivot to gameplay. Of course, we're all gamers here, right? We love gameplay. That was a big deal to see the gameplay trailer today for the first time.
Not just the pretty
things. What were you guys trying to
things.
get across with the gameplay trailer?
Well, the first thing was to hopefully make it really clear that if you love Mafia, you're going to love Mafia: The Old Country, right? This is classic. This is classic Mafia gameplay, modernized. It's brought to 2025. But if you like it, if you like Mafia, you're going to love this. But the other thing as well was to really show the variety of gameplay as well. The fact that, you know, there's knife fighting.
Nick with
now,
such force, he
combat's
does.
much more grounded and gritty. I hope that came across. You know, there's horses as well, which
big
is
deal.
a new thing, right? So, yeah, and the jewels that you saw with the knife. So I think the big thing was this is familiar, but it's better. And also I think the other big thing really was just to really give a taste of how this setting gives a new twist on that classic formula.
I love that transition. Alex, back on you. Talk to me about combat. We see knife fighting, we see guns.
A lot of knife fighting, a lot of swinging that knife out.
Or is it
There seems to be like a theme in this game.
Again, we tailored combat
they hitting them P's and T's hard.
We're talking about a time before automatic weapons. But also we're talking about an environment that's very sparse, that's very rugged, and actually another kind of angle we wanted to take on the design is kind of to channel something which was a bit more from the original Mafia game where combat was a little bit
Look
more
at that,
challenging.
his face.
It was more
He's a cute
tactical.
guy.
With Mafia 3, we went in a more kind of like bombastic sort of combat direction. We wanted to sort of pair that back.
Bombastic
make combat
side-eye.
feel more dangerous, kind of like having to survive combat encounters rather than just blasting your way through them. So all of those things are really kind of like
I like that you can take a tactical approach if you'd like to.
Enzo's attributes, you know, Enzo.
Oh, you already pre-ordered this? That's cool.
Kind of coiled springs, we describe him, a guy that's a survivor. He survived the mines. So him kind of like scrabbling around, looting for kind of weapons in combat scenarios, for example, is gives you a good idea about what it's like to kind of like survive through these combat encounters rather than just kind of.
So you can loot for things while in combat.
In addition, I think we also saw. Again in the videos, but like the knife is quite a significant new addition in terms of combat.
What'd I say?
We wanted to make it so that the knife, again, it's kind of a Sicilian tradition. Sicilian knife fighting is very evocative of the time period and Sicilian gangsters generally. So we wanted to make
daggers
it so
are
that the knife
serious.
is
You
more
see
than
that
just a
thing?
kind of a one-shot kill kind of like animation. You know, it's the player's knife. You can choose from different knives in the game. Each knife has got different attributes and skills associated with it. So
I like that. I like that.
Some knives you can throw. Some knives give you bonuses in other
Ark?
aspects of combat. And then we've got this knife dueling mode as well, which is new to the game and new to Mafia. So, you know, every
I don't
now
know
and
why
again,
you're
come up
arguing with
against
that, man.
kind of a boss character in missions, and you have a kind of a one-on-one kind of duel to the death with them as well. So
That's sick
that's
as fuck.
cool.
Okay. That's awesome.
That is really cool.
What's not awesome is that there's no Tommy guns. And so I would like to come back to that point, Nick. Thank you very much, everyone. Did you ever play Assassin's Creed? They make shit up all the time. You know what I mean? Here's a wingsuit. Why not? You know what I mean? Well, give me a prototype Tommy gun. But if there are no Tommy guns, Nick, what are we getting into when it comes to firearms? There are guns. We saw them in the trailer.
Right.
And I think the big difference, you know, guns back in those days, they're less forgiving. You can't just like spray and shoot.
Sure.
Like
Right.
as well.
You have to aim
so,
better.
It's revolvers, it's bolt action rifles, but it's it's a much more tactical experience. You've got to really think about what you're doing. You know, you're going to be in cover
Right,
more,
Destiny?
you know,
I saw that and I was like, let me just
it's about a feeling of vulnerability, like, you know, really
keep going.
fighting for your life. You know, every bullet counts. You're going to be relying on the knife. You're going to be relying on your guns. But really, it's down to you as a player how you want to play. It's just a much more brutal, grounded experience, I think, than maybe players are used to in a Mafia game. But again, keep saying the word authenticity, but that's what it was like.
And I want to piggyback off that again as we continue to move through what we saw in the gameplay trailer. We talked about the pillar. We talked about this. We talked about vehicles. And then, Tomas, we see vehicles in there, but of course they're far different than the vehicles we've seen before. How do you bring those into this
like
game? Make
horses
them
and were there horse carriages?
Yeah, obviously the cars are always the major
I like when he
feature of
answers
our games
questions.
since the very first one. So we are taking that very seriously, making the cars authentic also in the Mafia or the old country. So the research was extensive and we are doing our best to find the best possible materials.
Oh, this is a nice.
We're so lucky that
Is that like
in
a
Czech
car
Republic,
museum? I would like to visit
we
that.
found a huge museum having
yep.
all suitable cars for us. So and the owner was so cool that he allowed us not to only take the pictures of the cars, but even take them out, you know, and drive.
Oh,
them.
wait, you can drive them?
This is the first time we were able to.
And the gear is outside the window?
Dozen microphones all around microphones all around the car, and capture all the possible sounds, not just the engine exhaust.
That's really cool. They did like a super deep dive for this game.
All the metal shifts of the body of the car. So the sounds of the cars are so.
Wait, what? Yes, because they're not that loud.
Authentic that it's amazing.
Let me stop the entire panel and ask. This is something we keep calling out and making.
Oh, old. Okay.
But to look at you guys, first off, looking like a bunch of goons, but I love it. With all the microphones on these.
But still, I wouldn't drive that old car. I'd be scared.
Got
my hand can't reach that out the window.
Couldn't we record one car and put the engine on everything and then move on to something else? Why go to this Czech Republic car museum and record each and every one of them 15 different ways?
It's just something we've always done, hasn't it, since the very first? I don't know. This is what we do. Like, all of the guns get their own recordings, the cars, we do the research and all the costumes and everything. Yeah,
We're
it's
just
like,
doing it better and better.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, it's always been important to the franchise to be, authentic. It's part of our kind of DNA, really. It's part of the identity of
They
the,
do dives, it seems like. That's really good.
I think as well, we really want.
So I guess I'm with you on that one,
players to
Christine.
feel
You're right.
Super immersed with the story, and I think the more believable and the more genuine it feels, the more you feel, you can really, fall into the world, and it feels like something that is real, and you can't really fake that.
I like the look of it. Like, I would sit in this, but I couldn't drive that.
Thank you for the diatribe. You've been
I'd be
nice
too
enough to bring
afraid.
so many slides, and I'm like, you know what? Throw them out. Let's talk for a second. I was like, to get back to it and to get back to the cars. Alex, talk to me about driving them. Again, I keep coming back to, they're going to be authentic. Will they be fun?
Of course, yeah. Like, this is so like we got car chases, just like previous Mafia games. Of course, like it's part of the cinematic storytelling and part of the gameplay experience of all Mafia games. Again, cars are very important to us. But this time we're at the dawn of motoring. That's the turning point between when cars were starting to appear in Sicily. So they're kind of rarer, let's say, but the car chases and all of the car gameplay is, again, very similar to previous Mafia games, I would say. But with the difference that the vehicles themselves are designed to feel like cars of the time period. So they kind of got a heavy kind of handling model and things like that to really
I'm actually kind of scared.
Those
They are very
1900s
pretty,
vehicles.
but I'm scared.
Now, Nick, of course, you called out the other new vehicle, the horse.
Right.
Maybe the original vehicle.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Well, the original vehicle were legs.
Well, we couldn't
Then
really set
it's
the game in
horse.
1905 Sicily without horses, and that's the first thing. But it adds a really interesting dynamic as you explore the world, because the first thing is, like Alex was saying, cars are pretty new. So a lot of the roads that are in the countryside are actually meant for horses and carts. So as you go along, there's kind of choices of which way you
Tasha's
take
calling
it.
me. I got to
Some
call
are
her
more,
back after the
some
stream.
horses, some cars, but you can choose. You can go whichever one you want to.
Cry like.
And it's enjoyable. I think that's the main thing. It's about trying to give more enjoyment as you go from A to B and as you explore the world. It's.
They better not add another racing
And you have
mission.
to crank them when they break down, right?
The horses?
No, the cars. You mean the cars.
Oh, he's like the
Sorry,
horses.
sorry.
We could have done that. We could with a tail maybe, but I'm not sure.
No.
Anyway,
I mean, sorry.
There are multiple ways to crank a horse. All right. No more.
Well,
I mean, I did wonder where it's going. So yeah, but no, that's right.
Who, me? Let's get back to hard-hitting journalism. Tomas, the one thing I think that speaks, whether you've seen the game, you know the game, whatever, you watch that trailer and the game looks really good. Are you prepared to go on record and say this is the best looking Mafia game of all time?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, good.
Wow. Wow. He feels strongly about that.
Give me a little bit more than
Tomas.
that. What goes into making it look like this?
All right. Our goal was always to set the benchmark for the cinematic quality with our Mafia games. We wanted the player
Abdallah, our man's
feel
on
like
screen.
they are stepping into and playing the classic mob movie in these settings and in this era. So we are creating incredibly detailed environment across the Sicily, from the
in this
beautiful
economy with my livelihood
down to
hilarious,
super
Art.
detailed architecture. One more feature we are bringing to this Mafia old country we didn't have before.
You got
is the
pictures?
seamless
Were you taking
transition.
screenshots
So
of it?
We are getting seamlessly from the gameplay to the cinematics and back. So all the experience is fluent throughout the whole game.
How much is that benefited by or because of Unreal Engine 5? I know you guys have talked a lot about that in some of the videos we've done, but I've got to imagine that's a big part of it.
So, the technology advanced a lot since the first Mafia.
You don't say. 23 years?
With the moving
You would
us
hope
to
so.
Unreal Engine 5, it opens new possibilities we were not able to reach before. The details we are getting now is incredible. The nanites allowing us to model everything, like the environment, characters, cars, everything. That you are losing even the sense and presence of the triangles.
Right, Ark? I want to know.
So
Kyle,
real,
what you got
real.
pictures of?
The lighting is so real and beautiful and makes the overall picture so coherent and pleasant to eyes. And metahuman allowing us to.
What is metahuman? They talked about that earlier in the video.
But how detailed,
okay, Kryler.
precisely we can transfer all those
I shouldn't have asked.
Performance from the stage to on the screen with all these micro details and on the facial expression that you can feel and read the emotions even without any spoken words.
And I think, you know, you were the one, of course, to call
I'm looking forward to those details.
About the performers, you do. That the Dawn, so much more than just the voice. You guys did mocap these folks, right? Have them in there. Why, don't say authenticity, why does that matter so much? And what does that bring in? Like, what stories do you have from that? Authenticity.
Right. It's it's about being authentic.
No, for bringing them in, do you have, like, moments with them? Like, is that what makes you think this story in cinema goes to a different level? Like,
he wants behind the scenes info on their experience.
That you loved?
Can you help me here, Alex, please?
I mean, yeah.
Metahuman is Unreal Engine's character creation suite. Okay. Thank you, Ju. Is it Juijin?
Yeah. Oh, we have footage
wow.
of the cranking of the horse.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
I mean, I was on the stage for a lot of the mocap, and actually, the thing that really stands out to me when I remember from the shoots is when we were shooting the scene of Enzo and Isabella's first meeting. And obviously, that's quite an important moment in the story. And we were, like, literally myself and Matthew Aitken, who's the lead writer on the game, we had been going back and forward for an hour beforehand, rewriting the script, like still.
No, Kralik, I have more later.
You know, just the
Thank you, Stefan.
I don't know.
Can I get a shout out for Stefan in the chat, please? On Twitch.
Writing it over and over again. And when they did the scene, it was amazing. Like, you know, everybody was kind of like hushed on the set. I actually got chills when I was watching them perform it. And I'm really looking forward to everybody playing.
This is the kind of stuff he wanted when he asked the question.
Of a lot of the character nuance that we're getting from that mocap process.
That's actually something that I think, again, going back to what Thomas was saying about the way we really now capture the non-spoken acting because of the metahuman.
I love a good like actor who can really, you know, convey with their face.
And maybe
it's really good.
You wouldn't have. You know, there's not many words.
It's going well. Thank you, Stefan.
You wouldn't necessarily get that in the game because the nuances of the face wouldn't be there. But now they are, and now there are moments that are actually unspoken where you look at it and it really you know hits you. So
the little things that make them
that make it authentic.
You would never normally get.
Alex, you talked about being on set for those mocap moments, and I totally noticed that I didn't do my due diligence.
What do you mean?
Working on Mafia: The Old Country. I mean, the team. How long has this game been gestating? We get to this point. It's so exciting to get out in front of your audience to start showing gameplay. You know, we were joking back there, Nick. I was like, "What did you do since rehearsal?" And you were like, "I've just been looking at gameplay reactions."
Again, that's cool.
It's lost on us as gamers because on our end, there's a new game every week. There's something cool happening. It's often lost that it's been 23 years, but that's 4 games. You know what I mean? How long is this one being worked on? How big of a deal is it for you to be here right now saying, here's our baby?
It's a weird one, actually, because the first pitch for this game, I think I made it about 15
Thank you,
years
brand
ago,
new.
when we were talking about the Mafia story at large and the whole idea of telling the story of organized crime through the 20th century, and the idea of going back to the start was there. That was before we decided to do the remake of the first game and things like that. That was part of that pitch.
I ain't never said I was gonna be 50 next year. I ain't never said that.
This title just after we finished work on
Mafia
Definitive Edition. So we'd just sort of taken a bath in Mafia. We'd done the other Definitive Editions as well, kind of sort of discovered what was great about the IP and what we really loved about it. And so it's been 4 or 5 years of development, but the first part of that was all on paper, really, story development and concept development. Now actually finally seeing it here and being at the show in particular is like making it very real now. The game's going to come out soon. It's quite exciting.
Aww. I don't know what that person said, but everybody cheering and you seeing the pride on his face for bringing this to fruition.
You have to answer to your community. We, of course, reached out. When I say we, I mean you're amazing community managers over here for Mafia, The Old Country. Thank you so much. And said, hey, who's got questions? Well, they've got answers. So we're going to read from this one.
Okay.
Goodfella CLE, which I assume is Cleveland. You know? Right? Probably?
Maybe.
You're bombing these answers.
Wow, hilarious.
You said the game is not open world, but that you can explore areas. Can you elaborate on that? And even though the game is narrative driven, will we be able to explore Sicily in more open areas? How interactive will the world be? Community managers, that was more than one question. Thought
Hilarious.
it was pretty clear, but let's start with that. It's not open world. I know I saw a buzz about that today, that it was a linear one. You guys said.
Okay.
Yeah, they did say linear.
So I think the thing with this game is, like Alex said, we started this when we came off Mafia Definitive Edition, and we really took a lot of inspiration by how well, that landed with
That's
people.
what you're saying. Yeah, it's not open world.
It's a focused story that takes you through. There's a world around you, but really we're pulling you through the journey. We want these games are made for you to complete. We want you to see the story. Right? So,
he's like, you will complete our games.
That very much influenced the way we've created this game. So when you're going through Sicily, when you're playing the game, you're going along a golden path. You're seeing the story unfold in front of you. But there are things going on around you in the world. There's if you stop and look around, there's people in the fields harvesting crops. There's people going around their day. You can go off the path if you want and explore elsewhere. It's kind of, there's this beautiful world around you, but that's not our focus. Our focus has been, let's do a real polished gem, which is just something where
so there's stuff that you can visit or look at, but there's probably not a lot of interaction with things around
you if you want to go and look at it, because it looks absolutely incredible. But yeah, we want you to go through that golden path, that main storyline.
I mean, very similar to Mafia.
I wonder.
Exactly. I mean, that's like literally the inspiration. We wanted to, we wanted to make a game that was of a similar kind of nature. If you've played those games, if you love those games, the Mafia: The Old Country's got a very similar structure.
Okay.
On behalf of me, I love that. That's what I want out of that. I want that tight mob story. So yeah, that's pretty dope. Ebb Educational 2109. You can think of a better name. What types of missions and heists can players anticipate in Mafia: The Old Country, and how will they reflect the early era of
I wonder if we're going to find out if you got the race car mission that you guys keep mentioning.
We tried to encompass a whole range of stuff when we were designing the game. We've got new scenarios that are entirely specific to the kind of things that happen in Sicily at the time. Actually, we saw some clips there of a kind of a kidnapping mission, which was very common in that time. Bandits would go and kidnap people and kind of hold them to ransom. Not something
that was very common
in American crime. But then we've got sort of similar scenarios to other Mafia games. In some cases, some intentional remixes and revisiting of some similar ideas. I mean, it's assassinations, it's killings, it's shootouts, it's all of the kind of the crime scenarios.
I thought he was going to say race cars.
A lot of them have got like a distinctive Sicilian twist. Shootouts in Greek ruins or stealth missions in catacombs and crypts. The kind of stuff that really is distinctive to the time and place.
Question for me.
Yeah, probably not.
My head here. When we're talking about this, and we're talking about how deep this game is and how many things are going on, the story of this, the horses, the horses. How much, when you look at it and what you guys have right now back at the office, is what you originally envisioned? There's that old adage, right, of like every game's only 60% of the vision. Do you feel like you got above that?
Yeah.
Oh, the original vision?
Probably closer to 80%. You never get everything you want, but actually part of our goal here was to, to sort of like design a game that we could deliver. So it's not more development talk now, but really we got most of what we wanted to get in the can. So I think we're pretty satisfied with that.
Okay, that's good.
And then, final question. Comes from Game Over Greggy as well. Will there be any returning characters or references to the other Mafia
Game Over
games?
Greggy.
You have a community here that loves Mafia, right? You're talking about the pantheon of protagonists. There's obviously, you're prequeling it, so we're going forward, but there's people who could come back and be are we doing that? Are we having that kind of crossover to make fans get excited?
So we've met some of the main characters today. There are additional characters, of course, in the main cast, and there are some returning characters.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil who those characters are now.
But how many are there?
There's four in-person returning characters. Some of them you're going to have to look quite carefully to find them, but they are there.
Oh,
There'll be babies.
okay.
You'll walk by, they'll be in the hospital room.
Hilarious.
Wait and see.
That'll be funny.
Would you say horses? No, the horses are new. No horses. Horsepower.
No comment.
Hilarious.
Horsepower, all right. we are just about out of time, if you can believe it. But of course, this isn't your last chance to see these fine gentlemen. After this, you can head down. They are going to be doing a signing room on level 0 right after the panel, 3:30 to 4:30. But before I let everybody go, is there anything else, Nick?
Yeah, I've got one more thing to say to everyone. The first thing is, it is just 3 months today until the game comes out. So we are working super hard. As of today, you can now pre-order, and we've got a gift for you all. Those of you that are in here and watching from home.
Oh, okay.
If you scan this QR code, you get a special gift. That knife there, that can be yours. So that's your reward for coming along today. So thank you, and we will see you in Sicily on August the 8th.
Everybody, a round of applause, please. Well, hold on. Everybody's taking the photo. Get your QR code scanned. You're not going to be able to applaud if you're QR scanning.
Right.
Sir, how old is your phone? What was taking? Everybody good? All right, round of applause, please, for
Hilarious.
13. Mafia: The Old Country is out August 8th. Have an amazing PAX East. We'll see you at the signing, everybody.
That was great. That was a great panel. Somebody yelled, a QR code is back up. So there are a couple things I'm interested in. I'm interested in playing this game and interested in the story and some of the things that you guys were telling me. Obviously, Enzo is gorgeous, and I love the voice of the Dawn. I want to hear more of that voice in my ears. Are you kidding me? I'm interested, and I'm excited to dive into this story in this world that I've never dived into. We will be doing more PAX East streams, but tomorrow there is a DBD event, Dead by Daylight event. That will be tomorrow. Let me pull up the exact time. I'm going to tell you guys in 2 seconds. That'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern. So you do not want to miss it. I'm excited to do a DVD because, I've been sweating in that DVD. I'm excited. So I will have more of streams like this tomorrow with DBD at 11 and then Gearbox at 1 tomorrow. But yeah, stay tuned for more that PAX East has. You can also check out PAX East on their channels where they're streaming. From PAX on Twitch and on YouTube. Eat some cake for you? Oh, yes, I will. Oh, my husband made some birthday cake pancakes this morning. They were really good. So I really enjoyed that. But yes, I love you guys. And I'm going to head off. I will be back live again later today. And you guys will see. Yeah, we have some split fiction. And then I got to see what else we're going to be doing. Okay, enjoy your birthday. Thank you. I will. All right, my loves. I shall see you later. Bye. Well, hold on. Let me see who I can send y'all to. Let's spread the love. Let's see. Anybody live on YouTube? Let's see. Okay. No one's live on YouTube. So I'll see you later, YouTube. But Twitch, stay tuned. Let me see who I can send you guys to. All right. Bye, YouTube. Mwah.